Your parents and teachers won't tell you the truth to spare your fifis, but an asshole will. Don't waste 4 years of your youth and thousands of dollars in tuition on a worthless degree. This book could be the wisest investment you ever make. A link is in the description.
Hello everybody, Terrence Pop, Redonkulous.com. And Good Pop showed up, but I have weird news for you. You know those trash magazines, the ones that are by the checkout aisle when you're using your bridge card, winning? If you read those, sooner or later you're going to come across one that has an article almost exactly like this. And these articles, they won't sound bad. They'll have pretty harmless titles like How to Survive a Divorce, How to Come Out of a Divorce Amicably. That sounds fairly harmless, right? In fact, you would say it's kind of empowering. That's all well and good and politically correct. But here at Redonkulous, you know me, I have better titles for them. How to Eviscerate Your Man in 5 Easy Steps. How to Pull His Heart Out Through His Asshole and Take His Wallet with You. How to Cut His Head Off and Drink His Blood in Court and Get Away with It. And my best one, How to Cut His Dick Off Without Using a Knife. Screen 5, fuck that. With that being said, please pour yourself the usual menagerie of alcohol. Oh, wait a minute, I'm running low, this was so stressful. Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah.
6 steps any woman facing divorce must take to ensure you don't lose out emotionally and financially.
You threw emotional in there to soften the blow. But we dudes here, especially the ones that have been through this, we know exactly what you mean. By the time you get divorce court, let's face it, your emotions, they're already out of the equation. You're there to kill him. You're taking away half his shit and making him sell the other half to pay for you taking half his shit. But that's just stuff. The worst part is, you take his fucking kids, thus you're killing his soul. He might still be sucking air, but A, he might just snuff himself down the road, and B, he'll have a cold black dead heart, kinda like me.
Nobody wants to go through the breakdown of a marriage.
Well, the numbers, they tell a different story. I don't know what the divorce rate is in UK because I'm just a Yank or a Yanker. But here in the land of the Yanks, 65 to 80% of all divorce filed by chicks. But oh, you don't want to go through that, right? Bullshit, I got a drink.
But if your relationship does look to be heading for divorce, experts have revealed the 6 key steps you should take to protect yourself.
We all know what kind of experts feminists trust. In fact, they all wear the same hat. What can I say?
To coincide with the opening of a new office in Hampstead, London, leading divorce lawyer Lisa Pepper of Osborne's Law has revealed that there are 3 important areas to take care of: finances, children, and evidence.
Which Osborne are we talking about? Ozzy? Sharon, the one that cheered when the penis went down the garbage disposal? Or the fat daughter? Honestly, I'm just joking about that because those 3 points, I used them myself in pre-divorce mentality.
And she said that you shouldn't wait to come to a final decision with your partner. You should act straight away to be prepared if the worst happens.
Final decision? It's more like final solution, if you know what I mean. So what she meant by that was don't agree to anything because you want it all and you want him in a refrigerator box.
I often wish clients had come to see me 6 months earlier when divorce was only a possibility, as there are practical steps clients could take to protect themselves, she told Female.
Female? That actually exists? Holy shit, I just went to Bizarre World where garbage is money. And really? Divorce is a possibility? Give me a goddamn break. Anyone that's ever talked to a woman for, I don't know, a minute, knows that if she brings something up as a possibility, especially if she brings it up to her friends, it's already game on. It's going down. By the time she brings anyone into that circle of trust, she just wants reinforcement for the decision she's already made. If this divorce attorney, Lisa Pepper, was worth at least a dick stamp on the forehead, she would already know that. You're wondering how you administer a dick stamp to a forehead. I can't show you here because 1, I'm bashful, and 2, I'll get kicked off YouTube, but I'll explain it to you. You know, you get up in the morning, you go do your stuff in the bathroom. Of course, you gotta lean over a little bit or you'll spray the wall. And you walk on back to the bed and just get up and make me some coffee. I'm just fucking around. Yeah, no, I'm not. There's a reason why I'm divorced. Can you imagine going to work and having to explain a penis-sized red imprint on your forehead? Probably causes a lot of awkward moments.
From spending more time with your children to encouraging your partner to go back to work, these are the 6 actions you need to take to ensure you don't lose out, both financially and emotionally.
All right, I'm going to take a red pen, and I'm going to draw a line through those last 2 words, and now it's telling the truth.
Number 1, don't cut back on spending.
Yep, a feminist wrote this because she said can't understand normal thinker.
It's counterintuitive at a time when you may want to save your pennies, but if you think a split is on the cards, don't cut back on expenditure.
Of course not. Why would you cut it back? Because most of the time, all of that marital debt is going to be pinned on the dude to pay off because you did turn him into a fucking slave. On top of that, you're already taking steps to make sure you get the kids and the child support. Oh, and I forgot, the Alice isn't horny anymore money.
Both parties will be required to produce a budget in order for the court to establish if spousal maintenance needs to be paid.
Spousal maintenance? That's a whole big bowl of clam chowder mixed with ranch. That makes it sound like your ex is some kind of vehicle that's breaking down. Wait a minute. I already did a video about this called Middle Age Mileage 1 and 2. Check it out. Now that I think about it, she doesn't lube up like she used to. And the engine seizes up, especially if you try to choke on it. And the rear quarter panels, they've been dented by hail and it kind of looks like cottage cheese. It's a little rusty. It definitely needs a better paint job. And oh yeah, the dead bugs, so that's about right.
In cutting back beforehand, you are essentially helping the other party say you need less money coming in each month.
So let me get this straight. We have a barrister, which is basically an attorney in England, encouraging her clients to lie. That never happens, right? Space Ghost.
This means that if you decide to leave the family home, you shouldn't downsize too much or move to a substandard area, especially if children are involved.
Of course not, because you're gonna make your ex-husband pay for it all. While you're at it, why don't you move to a more expensive area and get a more expensive house because he's gonna finance your next ride on the cock carousel. Screen 5. And you know what? Your kids are gonna be sitting ringside, front row center for that entire train wreck of a relationship she's gonna have. It's like sitting front row center for Gallagher. Instead of watermelon, it's a yogurt slinger. Ugh. It's gonna be a parade of penises coming through. Oh, that's right. It's masculinity that's toxic, right, Space Ghost?
At the same time, be wary of locking yourself into a new mortgage with the redemption penalty in the next few years.
You just told your client to not cut back on spending, in fact, spend more. And then you make an ironclad, stainless steel argument to cut back on spending. Are you out of your goddamn mind?
You can also protect yourself by ensuring that your laptop, smartphone, anything with financial information on it is covered by a password and keeping all printed documents secure.
That's just common sense there, lady. In fact, she should have been doing that for the entire time she was an adult, let alone being married. And the only reason you're doing it now is because, I don't know, you're manipulating and you want to be secretive. And guess what? I'm totally cool with that because I'm all about equality. Because I made my episode Pre-Divorce Mentality long before that shit came out, and dudes can do the same thing, and they can do it better.
Equally, resist the temptation to snoop on your spouse. In recent years, the family court has been much tougher on people who do.
I can't argue with that because I did it, and then I got fucked in the ass by a fucking 18-inch stainless steel dildo without the option of a reach around. 18? 19? Where's my attorney? Fuck! But hey, you know me. I wouldn't be good pop or bad pop if I didn't tell you the deal.
Number 2, spend more time with children. If you are the main breadwinner and see much less of your kids, keep a diary of the time you do spend with them. Whether days out or helping with math homework, it all counts.
All you're really doing is creating an illusion that you're spending more time with your children than you really are. And you're doing that for the sole purpose of fucking your ex-husband, your kid's father, in court. After it's all over and you win the cash and prizes, you just drop the kids off at daycare and your kids suffer.
If you work full-time, consider if you could work at home 1 day a week or reduce your hours to see more of your children and cut down on any hobbies that take you away from them. In short, do anything you can to spend more time with your kids.
Thus, you're cementing the illusion. And if you write it all down, you're padding the record and it's as good as gold. Because that record's gonna mean everything in the world Especially when your kid's on the stripper pole. Screen 5. Because we all know, single mothers, they're filling the funny farms, the hospitals, the graveyards, and the prisons at breakneck speed. All for what? So you could get back at him or win? I hope the check was worth it, bitch. Because it's all fun and games until you come home from work and find your teenage son OD'd on the carpet. Because you wanted the check and you wanted to win. There's a word for people like that. If I say it, I'll get demonetized, so move along.
Number 3, encourage a return to work.
This is the other half of that illusion, and this is gonna get good.
If your spouse stays home, do what you can to support them returning to work. If they want a career change, encourage a vocation that is lucrative.
Yep, if he's not working, you might have to pay him Adam isn't horny anymore money, and what do we call that? Equality. Screen 5.
A psychotherapist or interior designer is less likely to be able to be self-sufficient.
First of all, you're proposing jobs like that because you don't know what you're fucking talking about. Second of all, unless you're a lucky motherfucker, those jobs pay shit. And that's why women like to do them. Screen 5.
Teaching can be a good option if you're a parent given the childcare needed in the summer holidays.
Okay, you could send me into a room and read me this article blindfolded and I would know a woman wrote it. Psychotherapists and interior design, they make shit. But you know who makes less? Teachers! I should be shocked, but I'm not. We have a lawyer who makes damn good money telling people to spend a lot of money on a career that makes absolute shit.
However, you can also discuss other childcare options. A summer au pair, for example, over the 6-week break.
So you want the dude to pay the Alice isn't horny money, the child support money, pay for a nanny in the summer, all while working a shit job that makes shit wages. This is a recipe for prison.
Get the hell out of corporate land. Leave the old dinosaur economy where it belongs, in the ground. Learn how to navigate the corporate minefield and split the female defense with cunning wizardry. A link is in the description.
Number 4, think before you text.
If only women could follow their own advice, I wouldn't have a phone full of naked pictures. Screen 5. More than half of them said after 2 a.m. and nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m.
It's all about creating a good impression for a judge who does not know you outside of the courtroom.
Or, if you want to get some favors in court, you can just send your tits to the judge after 2 a.m. It may or may not work.
So when you communicate, think before you write. Any text messages, emails, or even social media posts can be used against you. So avoid writing anything in anger.
That sounds like great advice for anyone, but we both know that the internet is forever. Hypothetical situation, gentlemen, and you know you've probably seen this but didn't notice it at first. Say you have a female friend, happily married, minimum Facebook presence. She's got her profile pic, 1 or 2 of her kids, and maybe the dog, cat, or whatever. Then all of a sudden, boom! The selfies fall like rain, and the rain barrel tips over and goes over to Instagram and Twitter. She hasn't said a thing. You don't know shit, but she's dick shopping because there it is. Sure, I believe you. All of those pictures were safe for work. Yeah, right. And you totally weren't dick shopping as you were writing up those papers to file, right? Gentlemen, if you're married and you notice this behavior, you are past the top of the roller coaster and you're well on your way into the abyss. So gentlemen, if you're married to a narcissistic social media whore, screenshot the shit out of that stuff and rake her ass through the coals at court.
Number 5, cut down on alcohol. At a time of stress, it is easy to reach for a glass of wine or 2 in the evenings to help you unwind.
Yes, it is, and it's also good for your blood pressure and making irrational decisions.
This can add up, and in children cases, you can face allegations of alcohol or substance abuse, making you a risk to your children.
In that case, just join nah. And bring those membership cards to court. Because if you do, you can get out of paying Alice isn't horny money, child support, and keep half your shit. Screen 5.
If you submit to testing and it's difficult not to, as the judge will be very suspicious otherwise, then a hair sample is taken. Blood and urine can be also.
Hair, blood, and urine? No thanks, I'm full. But in all seriousness, if you were to make a metal song about my first marriage, it'd be titled Hair, Blood, and Urine. And that's just touching on the early days before shit really went south.
centimeter of hair growth is roughly equivalent to a month's consumption. So the longer your hair, the further back the testing can go.
High and tight, gentlemen. High and tight. That doesn't mean smoke a joint and then go look for a whore to get some pussy. Go to the goddamn barber and get that shit shaved off. And if you're sporting a full Johnny Cash, just go in there and say, I want the JFK haircut just a little off the top.
Number 6, do not accept abuse.
That's right. If you're a woman, you can only give it. Screen 5. It's not like women ever go to jail for this shit. Hell, they make up whatever they want. As a dude in this country, you can call the police to report domestic violence against you, show up at the door covered in blood, and you're going to jail.
Finally and importantly, take action if you are in an abusive relationship.
You are correct, but if you are in an abusive relationship, you have to ask this one question. Why the hell did you marry him in the first place? Hey, it's just a question. I am not victim blaming. Yeah, well, yes, I am. You're an idiot.
No one should suffer abuse at the hands of a loved one.
Well, I'm just going to be honest here in a ridiculous kind of way. If he's abusing you and you still love him, you're crazy.
No one has the right to abuse. If you're in that situation, get help now.
You are right. I completely agree with you, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't have some smart-ass shit to say. First of all, ass whippings, they don't just fall from the sky, just saying. Second of all, I'd have a much easier time taking you seriously if you didn't direct this article strictly to women. Because I don't know if you've done actual real research. In a vast majority of cases where the domestic violence isn't reciprocal, it's women doing it. Over 70% of one-way domestic violence is women, but we don't hear a peep about that. And why? You're not very strong. You don't know how to fight. You don't even hit that hard unless you have a weapon, and even then it's iffy. So basically, when it comes to domestic violence and pretty much everything else, we're better at it, Screen 5. All right, I'm just fucking around. Domestic violence isn't funny, well, it kinda is.
Keep a diary of any verbal or physical abuse and don't be abusive yourself.
That I can agree with. Moving on.
Go for a walk to cool down if it comes to it.
Instead of hitting your soon-to-be ex with a bat with a gutter nail in it, just go for a walk and cool off. Not that I know anything about that, but the bat didn't have nails in it. I saw her coming, and I ran like a bitch.
If you are being physically abused, go to see your general practitioner and call the police. Contemporaneous third-party records of what's been going on are good evidence too. Otherwise, it's your word against theirs.
First of all, that's just a general rule of evidence. Everyone knows that. Number 2, and it kind of smells like it, you come into court, even if the domestic violence is documented. If you're a dude, your documentation only has 20% the weight of hers. With all that crying of, I can do anything you can do, and we're equal, we should be treated the same, they are more than happy to take special treatment in family court. I've researched this shit for years, and I have talked to thousands of people who have been wrecked by this system. In one case, I had a guy with CPS reports that proved that the mother had committed abuse and neglect of the children. But none of that mattered because he's a big guy and he yelled at her and she called the cops and they arrested him. There was no abuse there. She just wanted to be a bitch. But guess who won in court? She got the kids. She got the cash and prizes and all the money. And 4 months later, one of those kids was murdered. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. The guy who murdered the kid and maimed the other one, her new boyfriend. And none of that mattered in family court. And you want to know why? He had the wallet and everyone benefited by taking his money. So when I read horse shit like this that's coaching women to take more from a system that's already biased against men, it absolutely sickens me. Lisa Pepper, you are a disgusting, money-grubbing cunt. I may have agreed with a couple of things you said, but that does not equate to respect. Because you capitalize on creating misery for other people, and you bank hard doing it.
I have to go now. Actually, I don't. It would be rude to walk out without saying anything.
With that being said, I'm gonna finish off this drink, and then what the hell, I'll probably mix up another one. Gentlemen, if you like what you just saw, check out the links below: Patreon, PayPal, Maker Support. Throw us a couple bucks, because this shit is expensive. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell, because YouTube is fucking with us, and we want you to be notified when we make new videos. And if you don't, I'll kick the shit out of you. But don't worry, I'll write it all down so it stands up in court. The funny thing is, this is a whole other fucking country on the other side of the fucking ocean, and they're doing the same shit. They just call it different stuff. Yeah, you could join Ga, Ah, and Na.
Ga, ah, and na.
I wrote that down here because that's funny. Ga, Ah, and Na. And no, it's not an Egyptian thing.